Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Chinese ADR report. This is CP Chen reporting for you from the New York Stock Exchange. U.S. stock markets rebounded further on Monday as the oil markets continued to stabilize. Saudi Arabia reassured investors to increase oil exports to make up for the lack of supply from Libya. WTI crude oil settled around $97 per barrel. Chinese stocks are affected mostly by the broader markets. However, several Chinese companies reported earnings on Monday and their stock prices reacted respectively to the quality of the earnings. Let's take a look at the details. First, Jinko Solar Holding reported that revenues increased 157% year-over-year, while profits climbed more than 340%. However, due to high expectations before the report, the stock price sold off slightly as investors take profits. Q6 Media rallied on their earnings report. The internet media company reported income of more than $6.8 million, representing a 58% increase over the previous quarter. Shida Education Group dropped slightly, but the company reported very strong earnings growth. Revenue in the fourth quarter increased 89%, while net profit grew 80%. China Yuchai International rose on upbeat earnings. Revenues increased from $491 million in the previous year to $607 million in the previous quarter. Investors bought into the stock after the earnings report. Finally, 51 Jobs Incorporated reported earnings per share of $35, higher than the market expectation of $32. Revenues and profits also demonstrated strong growth. Now let's shift our focus to the futures and options market. Let's connect to our special correspondent in the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Brenna Hartman.
Well, we're seeing a lot of option activity in FXI this morning. FXI is the China index fund. It's comprised of 27 different companies, the largest Chinese companies. And what we're seeing are people buying the April $46 calls. Now, that would mean the stock would need to rally about 10% by expiration for these calls to be in the money. So it's a very bullish option play. Now, we're also seeing within the FXI, there's these different components. Now, China Mobile is almost a 10% component, and as you probably know, they just launched their Xinhua search engine. So that's some very positive news for FXI index fund. And look, the ticker symbol is CEO, and it's the Chinese National Offshore Oil Company. Now we're seeing a lot of people buy front month, which means the front month is March, $140 and $150 calls. Now that's between 4 and 10% out of the money, so we're also seeing a lot of bullish options activity in that name. While there was a lot of activity within the first 30 minutes to an hour, and now we're seeing a lot of slowdown. I was actually talking to one of my colleagues, and I've mentioned this before, it's kind of like the eye of the storm. We're all waiting for something else to happen. We're down about 20 points, which is substantial, but we're kind of teetering here. So we'll see what happens over the next few days as news unravels of what's going on in the Middle East.
Thanks, Brenna. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today's ADR Chinese Stock Report. Thank you for watching and see you next time.